So it's hard to imagine, but see, information doesn't occupy space. And that's where we have to let go of that concept. Information doesn't occupy space. So you can have infinite amount of information in as little as an atom or even subatomic. You can have all the information in the quarks and in the electrons and in the protons, because information doesn't occupy space. What it is that if anyone knows anything about stem cells are what is called unassigned cells. So they're cells, but they haven't been assigned to anything yet. So they're not a bone cell yet. They have the potential to be a bone cell. They become a bone cell when, let's say we break our leg and we need some healing. So the stem cells then gets assigned to be a bone cell. Prior to that, they weren't assigned. And that's the same thing with the information of the universe. It stays in potential form until we unlock it, until we tap into it, and then we can put it to purpose.
Okay, that's good, because I know a little bit about stem cells in my readings, and I see that they become what they need to become when they, okay, got it.
And that's the same thing with information. It becomes what it needs to become when we activate it. The first thing we have to do is know that it even exists. The fact that we think of information outside of us, the word, it's information, information. It's everything that can potentially bring something into form. And the word in means it's inside of us. It's not out formation, it's information. Right? So in mental alchemy, like when we go on these journeys, you guys are tapping into stuff that does exist on the mental planes. Nothing that you guys experience in the alchemy practice doesn't actually exist. It does exist. The only way you can bring that into the physical environment is by investing belief, trust, and knowing that that it does exist. If you think that it's just something that just part of your imagination, you'll never bring it into form. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. Good start. Good start to the class, y'all.
Greetings, everybody.
Greetings.
Right.
Yeah, so we're both dealing with not getting nothing to eat at hillside.
So we're multitasking here.
All right, Tiffany. Question again is, check in with us. How was your week? And have you had any insights or epiphanies for yourself?
Hi, greetings, everyone. My check-in is short and sweet. My week has been great. That's all I have to say, just great. I hate that I missed the event today, though. I will say that. I know it was a really big deal because this is the day that the Wellness Center officially opened.
It was what they called a soft launch. It's not as big as what you think it would have been. It was just so he actually focused on the other thing. It was a soft launch because they haven't really finished the downstairs yet. So they called it a soft launch because nobody's really doing anything. You can fill out some paperwork to start your process by having a consultation. But Bishop basically has in the back for like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
In the back, just explaining, what it is and, to that you can be a part of it and so on. So, yeah.
The value that it brings and all those things. Yeah. So really good.
Okay. Well, I mean, it seemed like a lot was going on. So I was like, I wonder how they're going to accomplish all of that in that one day. But I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. Seemed like a lot. But I just think that it's such a great thing to at least be starting. I do know other churches that are incorporating that, but I mean, it's just such a great thing, I believe, especially for the Black community, even though I know it's open to everyone. But I'm just excited to see how that's going to really help all those people that choose to use it. But again, I wanted to see the festivities, everything today. So I do hate that I missed that. But other than that, my week has been great. No complaints. I'm just ready for the class. I'm ready for today's lesson. So.
Okay. So, just to give you a little insight on what today was like, it was beautiful. Reverend Sharon, oh my gosh, guys, they had a video. I thought everyone was going to get on stage and talk. It was this amazing, beautiful video. And Reverend Sharon's story was I felt was the most moving story of the whole video. And that actually was my favorite piece today. They had the drumming. And yes, Bishop Jack does this. He takes a lot of stuff and he condenses it.
Also, too, what you did miss, you missed a couple of dancers that you're looking at. It was on stage doing a little African dance. And there it is. Author, myself.
Author.
I have video.
Author.
I have video.
Yes.
Yeah,
If you
Oh,
could load that video,
Yeah.
if you could load that video, Yummy, so everyone could see Author.
He had a solo dance.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
Y'all were good. Y'all, all three of y'all were good. Y'all were amazing. I have video, all three of y'all together.
oh, okay. Good things. Make sure I get a copy of that, right?
Yes.
But yeah, it was a great time. It was a great time. So how's the baby?
Yes.
baby's great. Baby's a month. So,
Already?
yeah, I know. So soon, like I said, I'm getting a little antsy to where I'm supposed to be homebound, but as you can see, I'm in my car. I'm just driving. I'm not supposed to be driving, but I'm only doing things that I'm supposed to do, or that I need to do. So I just can't wait to be back in person in church, and again to do to be involved in the practices. I have a whole line of babysitters now, so I can't wait. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep. Thank you all.
You are welcome. Okay, next
Or give
check-in
thanks.
is give thanks. Next check-in is Sharia.
Greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
This week has been weird for me. It's been like a tear down type of week where tear me down kind of thing. And I guess it's okay. I've been pushing through doing some things, and then I start second guessing myself. And like, for example, I was talking to my boss the other day at work, and, we were talking about implementing the building a youth, doing something for the youth or in the community to, get to learn this trade in a printing company. And he was like, well, if you don't know how to do it, then how are you going to teach anybody else how to do it? And then, in my mind, I didn't just say it in my mind. I said it out loud. I was like, build the ship as you should sail it. And I was explaining, I was like, he doesn't understand that. But I just
you need to go to the entrepreneur mindset class and you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yes. And it just made me feel like some type of way, like, okay, maybe this isn't what I need to do. I don't know. But it's also made me feel like, if I can put all this energy into working for somebody else, I can put this much energy in working for myself. So I think that was a good thing for me to experience, I guess. So yeah. That's been my week.
So Rhea, if I could offer you, we know words have power, and tear down versus remodeling. How about
remodeling?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Right.
I
Yeah.
like it too.
Yeah.
Doing some remodeling over here.
All right.
Thank you. Give thanks.
I think I'm remodeling a few things too.
Oh, and I also threw away some glasses I broke the other day, and I felt so good.
Okay.
Yes. Now, was it, you need, wait. You're blind. You can't see. You need to wear sunglasses like DMC. For those that are from Run DMC time.
Run DMC, yeah.
Right. Okay. Along with those Adidas, right.
And this shaking the head, DMC. All right. Reverend Sharon, you are next on the mic.
Hey, fam. Oh, you're making me hungry, Dr. Fire. I'm sitting here eating plants and chips. That's it. That's all I had on the fly. Sometimes I gotta remember which class I'm in.
No,
life coaching class.
Right.
I had said life was lifing, but life has been lifing really good. It's been a lot going on this week, with family and new family and meeting one of my brothers for the very first time, meeting my uncle for the very first time. So it's been a wonderful experience. As I'd mentioned in the other class, I said, Saturday I said life was lifing, and I didn't mean it in such a positive nature, but life is lifing in the best way, because everything is just a lesson. And I got to remember that. And I got to remember that it's an opportunity for me to learn something new and think a new way about something that I've experienced. Now, I will say today I was triggered by something, but I know that's for life coaching, which was
as a life coaching check-in.
Yeah, it's a life coaching check-in too. But I'll save that for the life coaching class, because I got to figure out what that's all about, because it had nothing to do with me at all, and it wasn't said to me, but the overwhelming emotion I felt at the time was just interesting. And thank you so much, Yummy, for the session that we had, because I got a Reiki session with Yummy and Reverend La that just shifted that whole energy. And I went from feeling really heavy to feeling extremely light and whole. So thank you for that today. So even when we're having our best days, sometimes it was like a great day and you get a trigger and it just shifted your whole energy. And as they were working on me, I just kept affirming that every cell is responding to the energy and the love that is being given to me, for me, through me. And I think I floated off the chair. So
that's great.
Yeah. Because when I go to the doctor, normally, no matter what doctor I go to, when I walk in, I'm praying, I'm saying that everything they need to do, everything is for my highest good. I will hear what I need to hear that will help with my body. And so it's just that same space I was in during the Reiki session. But it was even, I don't know, I literally felt like I was elevating in the chair. So
I felt that too.
yeah.
Actually, Reverend Law, I felt that I was being elevated too.
Yeah.
Very
So
good. Yeah, and Reverend Law, she said that she's gonna have to circle around to the April class, because she said that there's a lot just going on right now for her, and she might have to wait till like even the class after that. But the thing is that when you take classes, life is going life in a good way, as Reverend Sharon said. So it's just, because same thing, I take classes. I in order to be a good facilitator, you got to also be a good student, and a lifelong student. I always want to learn. I always want to hear. I want to hear another perspective. I thirst for that. And so, and then there's a lot of times where it's like, I gotta do this, a client wants to see me tonight at the time of class, but I have to, class is like you're committing to yourself.
Yeah.
And and things are gonna always come up. We all live in lifestyles that, like, there's always gonna be like we'll have life coaching weekend, and then a million things comes on the table, and people want you to go to this conference or this event or this fair, and it's like right. So
Reverend Sharon, I appreciate what you said, and what I've learned about the challenges or the consequences prepare me for getting through that. And so I can appreciate the light from that darkness more. So I allow that darkness to continue to allow me to appreciate the resolution, the solving, you know, the finding the answer, you know, so it continues. So when it comes, it doesn't feel good, but I realize that, okay, I need this feeling because the next feeling is going to be the good one. The one that's disturbed after I accomplish and be about that thing, that whatever disturbance it is, and it come to some resolution. And so that's the yin and the yang of that experience.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, give thanks. Give thanks.
Thanks. Give thanks.
All right. Janetta, are you ready to check in with us?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Hey.
My week has been a mix. A lot of, you know, a lot of good happened this week. A lot of progress I made, and also there has been a lot of realizations, but like not knowing actually what to do with it afterwards. And one of the bigger things was I'm tired. I am tired. I was reading
I'm experiencing being tired.
I'm experiencing being tired. I was reading somewhere in the beginning of the manual, and it was talking about the some of the symbolism in alchemy. It's like hermaphrodite, like masculine and feminine. And I just realized I have been operating in my masculinity so long in relationship, just in every aspect. And I am experiencing being tired. I'm experiencing I had some really scary physical manifestations of it a couple days ago, and the body is just now kind of like trying to recover from it. So just that realization that I've not been able to balance or even come close to being in my feminine nature in so long. And trying to see where to go from there. Is that I believe a lot of things that have stemmed in my own world has been because I have been off balance, and I have been deeply operating in the masculine, and you know, but I'm figuring that out.
Yeah. Well, it's already begun. The fact that you're speaking to it and calling it out for what it is, it's already begun. And the fact that you realize that the lesson in that is the overwhelmingness of masculinity for me is not serving me. And so now that you recognize that it's no longer serving you, now the mission is to find, okay, so now what's next to counterbalance that overdone in that experience, you know. So that's a great beginning to realize that you recognize it, you know how it's how it's caused you to feel. And so now, having done that, now you can move forward on countering that.
And you know, a great way of really gauging like masculine energy, feminine energy is looking at the hormones. And we know that men have more propensity of testosterone than women. Testosterone is the aggressive / assertive hormone. So when we're aggressive and when we're assertive, we are exerting a lot of energy. So you're right. So the masculine, like when you're in the masculine energy a lot, that's like you have the on switch on a lot. You know, whereas the feminine energy is that surrender, is that you know, the softer side of just being able to allow things to happen as opposed to like trying to control it. So so yeah, and like Dr. Jerome said, it's acknowledging it, pray, you know, giving it thanks. Give thanks. And I saw Reverend Sharon's hand went up when you talked about that. So I would love to hear her contribution to.
Oh, I just want to offer a different phrase because I am is a statement of our God self.
Yeah.
And so at Hillside, we say, I feel tired. I feel unease, I feel this way, I feel that way, because feelings shift. I am is you, when you say I am whole, I am complete, I am spirit. That is the I am. We
Yeah.
feel, because sometimes we feel this way or we feel that way and it shifts.
Yeah.
But
And
you
that's
are whole, you are complete, you are full of energy, you are full of life.
Yes.
You are the goddess.
Absolutely.
yes.
Thanks,
Yes.
Reverend Sher. And Jeanette, also too, challenge to remember when I last remembered my feminine self. What is that? What is that? Do I remember? Has it been that long where I don't even remember the experience? So to think about, and so if you can, then be mindful of that feeling. Be mindful of that feeling.
And this is another thing that I would say, and that's, yeah, Reverend Sharon, you know, that you use your words to create space between you and your experience so that you can use, I'm experiencing tiredness, I am feeling tired, using a word to create the space between you and that. You know, what we kind of do sometimes in the alchemy class when we start to dance very feminine, do some feminine dancing, feel it, feel the feminine energy move through your body. Dancing is a beautiful way, and it's in the Alchemy 2 manual, it talks about when you're, the reason why dancing invokes a flow, a unity of with the divine, is because our essence is fire and fire dances. So, but there's like, you know, there's like ways of dancing that invokes a masculine, protective, you know, stance, and there's forms that evoke the femininity, you know, and a lot of cultures, like belly dancing is a strictly feminine dance. In African cultures, they have strictly feminine dances versus masculine dances. So most cultures have where the dance itself is going to invoke that type of energy. So that would be my suggestion, to start getting in touch with your feminine energy by just being in it through the dance.
You know, it's interesting that you about the dance today. When we're dancing, I felt the combination of the moves that we're doing. I felt someone felt, you know, softer, you know, than others felt a little more. So now that you mentioned that, and I felt that energy between the both, and those moves that we're doing. I don't know about you, Arthur, but I felt that shift in doing the moves that we're doing.
All right. Give thanks, Shanetta. Okay, Atasia.
Greetings, everyone. Janetta, you took my words, woman. But it's okay, because I'm gonna elaborate on what you said. I was reading about fire, and that fire is like similar to what we breathe in. Oh, of course, we breathe in oxygen. Fire breathes in oxygen and releases carbon. We release carbon. So I was thinking, just like what y'all just said, with the dance and then the movements of the fire, and this is like we are one with fire, and I didn't realize that until I read it and just thought of the motions in my, just visualized the motions in my head, and with the dance movements and on the sessions, the practice that we had last week. It's like I'm always wanting to dance, and I'm just like, okay, why is this? I know now. It's that feminine energy that I love. I have been missing, so I love that I can be free and incorporate that more in the practice. Also, hold on, baby. I wrote down something else. Hold on, sweetie.
He ain't holding on.
He is not. He is not. But the fire is what got me in the word the THED. I was going back to the manual and the soul and the, hold on, baby, and the spirit, and just wanted to delve deeper into that. And it's been, I had a roller coaster week, but after reading everything, taking that time, I took an hour after work, and during lunch, my lunch breaks, I would take an hour to just, go into the material, and it just felt so much better to actually read it, feel it, visualize it, and release whatever I had was going on. And I just was in that energy and was able to, again, feel everything that I wanted to feel and be free. You know, so that's mine for this week. So give thanks.
Give
Yeah, thanks.
thanks.
So Natasha, am I hearing a newcomer in the dance ministry at Hillside? Am I hearing that?
Maybe I'm not sure. Hey, I'm receive it and I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with that flow of it. Yeah.
So a couple of things there. We've been talking about masculine and feminine. So across, and I'm gonna be open to the class about this, and it's a mind blower about the psychology of the masculine and feminine energy. Like you actually see when societies were dealing with feminine deities, they behave differently. There's a psychology that comes with worshiping a female deity versus worshiping a male deity. And I'm not favoring one over another. I'm saying there's a psychology that comes with it. And there's a behavior that's being exhibited because of that. It's a complete correlation. But I bring that into the into this conversation because across the board, every society on the planet that was in a more feminine earth-based, all of them worship not only at night, but they danced around a fire. They all danced around a fire. So it was like knowing that internal connection. So, and there was something else I was going to say in reference to it, but it's not coming to me right now. Okay. Oh, yeah. So, that's what I was going to say. And, there's a reason why when Yeshua, as someone call him Jesus the Christ, when he came, he said, we ain't baptizing with water no more. We baptize it with fire. And that's, in Rastafari, that's why we use that fire burn, because it's the concept is that water cleanses, fire purifies. Our nature, I always talk about our nature's wholeness, but if you want to talk about an element, it's fire. Fire is the essence of our soul. So in order for us to really be baptized, baptizing is supposed to be like a cleansing process. We're no longer cleansing ourselves, we're purifying ourselves. Okay, give thanks. Okay, Yummy and Arthur, if you guys want to check in together.
Okay, I'm here. She's not right now, so I can do my check-in.
Go ahead and do your check-in.
My weeks has been great. It's been wonderful. After alchemy class, it just seemed like spirit has been just speaking to me every day in some type of way, through my meditation, through just meeting people and doing new things. So it's just been wonderful. Just wonderful. There's nothing I can't complain about it, but just know that now I'm most definitely aware of my surroundings and setting intentions and being purposeful with everything I do.
Yeah.
Give thanks. That's beautiful.
I will say, man, I noticed from the beginning, and there's a light. There's a light exuding from you, brother. There is your smile, your presence. And you now being consistent and being an active knowledge seeker, man. That is such a powerful state of being. And I just wanted to see that in you, man. And just kudos, man, and continue to be that.
Give thanks. Give thanks. I love it. All right.
Okay. All right. Give thanks, Arthur. And when Yummy comes back, let us know. Okay.
I most definitely will.
Okay. Next on the mic is Rania. Rania, check in with us.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I've been the last 2 weeks, I've been good, busy, very busy. Now it's time for me I gotta fall back and take care of myself. But also, I've been dreaming a lot lately. I dream just about every night, but I've been remembering my dreams, and I've been remembering specific people in my dreams, which I called one person and they needed to talk. So we talked for an hour and a half.
Mm.
Also, I had a conversation about spirit and religion and what have you. Some of the past things that have I've experienced over my lifetime, the way I was raised. And I had a deep conversation with a friend. And we hung up the phone and the phone rang. And it was my aunt. She asked the very same question of what our conversation was about. So I had an answer for her.
Wow.
I was like, wow, how did that happen?
Mm.
Because it was something that was deeply, we're trying to let go. We're trying to, and this is my aunt, but I can talk to her. We can talk. And I was like, wow, how did that happen? It's like it was given to me and I was able to give it to her.
Mm.
I don't know what to call that, but so I am being more aware of messages that I'm getting. That's why I said it's time for me to sit down, because I know it's time for me to take care of me.
Yeah.
That was needed right now. Everybody else has to wait, because I can't help you if I don't help myself.
Absolutely.
So that's been my week.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's very mystical.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you're tuned in,
Mm-hmm.
and that you're attuned to the messages, and that now your eyes and ears are wide open.
But this is the first time this has happened.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't something that always happens.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I know it can happen, I want to be aware. I want to maybe use that if I can.
Sure. So it means that you're ready now. And think about, it took all things prior to that time to take place for you to be in this place. Be mindful of that. It wasn't some arbitrary thing. No, you've been working, building towards this moment in your life. But now for you to be that open. And I give thanks that we're all here or been a part of that process with you.
So you're saying it's a form of confirmation.
It's a form of confirmation, but it's also help. It's there as also to help you develop the frequency, the powers, unlock. We just talked about unlocking the information, unlocking certain capabilities in our DNA. That's all our DNA is a history book of information. It's encoded information into our DNA. However, again, and we talked about this before, that that 6% of the DNA we're expressing right now is survival DNA. Now, some of us are, we might actually be up at that 10%. There's still lots and lots of layers to unlock. And that's why I even said before that when we talk about realms, there's like unlimited realms. So when we talk about realms, we could, talk about it in reference to levels, realms. There's another term that's used a lot. What it's just saying is that there's not really demarcations. Let me show you something. When they peered into the quantum level of matter, they couldn't tell the difference between energy and matter. It was very hard to tell once you peer on that level of matter. So these different realms don't have really clear-cut demarcations. They're just like kind of like how we wean. It's like we're weaning in and out, and then at one point we're firmly on the other side. So that's what I think is happening right now, is that certain things are unlocking for you, and you're allowing them to unlock for you. And also when we do this practice, what I love about this practice, we visit places, we go to places, we see people, they show up. And once that happens, you've unlocked another level. You have unlocked another realm. And then next time you do an alchemy practice, and if you're doing it every night, then you start getting used to these levels. These levels start feeling really natural. You just visit them at will. So that's why I always encourage everybody, even if it's just 15 minutes, try to give yourself a whole hour. But if you can't give yourself an hour, give yourself 15 minutes to do maybe 2 or 3 of the practices every night, and have your lab, doing in front of your laboratorium.
I will add too, Rania, that's always been in you. It's just now your growth has opened up that portal to now getting and receiving it in a different way. But it's been there. And just know that your growth and now it's opening up for you at a deeper level.
Okay. All right, give thanks.
Yeah.
You feel complete in your check-in?
I do.
All right. Next on the mic is Lateria.
Greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
So for me, this week has been a good week. I have been, doing the practices at night. But one thing, it's kind of a thing for me. Okay, so the client that I have, I'm spending, take a lot of my time. So I feel like that I'm not been able to participate in a lot of things that I want to do, but praying about it, Spirit just told me this is where I need to be for now. So I'm just in a place of continuing to master myself, these classes, try to be as present as possible, and just allowing things to unfold the way they are. And and just continue to heal through the phases that I'm in. So I give thanks for that.
Give thanks. Yes. Give thanks. Okay. Yummy's back. Forward, not back. Forward ever, backwards never. Yummy.
Hey, y'all. Oh, this week has been amazing. I've been meditating at night now. And by me so I meditated one night and it was like I was initiated. It was like people that I've worked with, they was around me and they laid a cloth on me and they were just I don't know. Let me decline whoever that was just calling. And they were around me, they laid a cloth on me and they told me that I was healed. And it was just like they passed a torch on. It was so beautiful. And when I woke up, I told AJ, I said, I'm not the same person I was yesterday.
Wow.
And it was just amazing. When I say amazing, it was just amazing. And then today was amazing too. Just to connect with different people, was just amazing. Just the energy and being in the community and just growing. I just give thanks for all my classes, everybody that's in them with me. For holding space. I'm filled with gratitude because it's been a great week.
Yeah, it was a yummy week, sound like me.
Yes, most definitely. Even through the experiences, they just look different.
That's great. That's great.
Give
Wow.
thanks. All right. Loving these check-ins. This is something else. All right, Akita.
Hi.
Hey.
I feel a little bit like Reverend Sharon a little bit. It was like, what class is this? When was the last time I saw y'all? Because I know I wasn't here on last week. But So everybody has been saying something that has been reminding me of something. And I was trying to take notes and jot them down. They're not in any particular order, but first thing I noticed, I was in the car at first, and Dr. Fire and Dr. Jerome, I was going to ask where y'all been because y'all look good. Y'all look like you're glowing or something. I don't know, but y'all had some good looks on you today. My last week or last 2 weeks were busy. They were very heavy. And they felt very full. They felt overwhelming. They felt very heavy for me. And in fact, in one of the other classes that we were in, I think I even said, I'm not going to reach back to that because I don't want to bring, that into the present. And so I still won't, because my 13-year-old daughter is around and I don't really have any privacy. Can y'all hear me? Y'all look frozen.
Absolutely. No, we hear.
Okay, good. So
you got us captivated.
We're active. We're in our active listening mode.
Okay, thank you. So it felt heavy and all of those things that I told you about, and I was feeling like I was running on fumes. And so a couple things happened, like brought the light bulb back. I had a class at work and I haven't been in this space in a while, but I got in a flow. And like, I don't know what I was saying. And they were captivated too. And then after class, I think I may have shared, I don't recall if I've told y'all about this, but it was this high profile project we've been working on. So a lot of people have been visiting the class and watching me. Like I felt like I was like under a microscope and I had to perform. And then something hit, somebody said something and I just got in the flow. And then I got so many compliments. They were like, wow, you were blah, 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 blah. And I was really feeling good about that. Not because they were complimenting me, but because I don't really know what I said that was impactful. I don't know at what point I went off because some of it just blanked out. So what I was excited about was that because I did at some point when I was walking and talking, kind of feeling like goosebumps, and I knew I was in a flow, and I haven't experienced that in so long. And so I was very grateful for that break up of, everything that had been, had me feeling so heavy. That sustained me, that feeling, just that little bit, because I hadn't had it in so long, sustained me. Then I had, my daughter had a gymnastics meet and I had to volunteer for that. So I was all over the place, but I was still trying to watch her, right? And I was looking at her scores and I was catching her, her events, right? And she had missed some practices too, because of everything that was going on. And I was concerned about that. And her coach was like, just let her go. We'll see how she feels. And so she was doing great. And I was like, wow, she hadn't really practiced and she was doing great. And at her last event, I wasn't near her, but I was across the gym watching. She scratched on vault. And I was like, what happened? I didn't know what happened. And so when I talked to her afterwards, what I said to her was, you did really well, because we were concerned about her not having had practice. And I was like, you did a great job. I said, you would have had a really good outing if you had done the vault. What happened there? And she was so irritated with me when I said that. And she was like, I don't care. This is what my 11-year-old told me. And she's just like a week into being 11. She said, I don't care. I did what was best for me. So I was like this, like, okay, I was about to do that to her. Like I got in that space. And then I was like, whoa. It started sinking in, and I was like, yeah, even right now, I want you to be able to feel that and do what's best for you. So I backed off. I will have a talk with her about how she says things.
Yeah.
Right.
But
and she got triggered too.
Yes, I triggered. Yeah, she's triggered. And so, but I was happy about that, that she recognized that, and I backed off. So that was big. And then somebody said something about having some dreams and remembering them. I don't know if it was Rania or somebody, but I too have dreams from time to time that I remember, that I recall, but I usually don't. I had a recurring dream. Can't remember having recurring dreams since I used to have one when I was a child. I had a recurring dream this week, and the dream was that I was in bed and I woke up in the middle of the night because my phone buzzed or I saw it light up and it was in the bed with me. And when I looked at the phone, I don't know what it said, but it was lit up. And then I just looked around and I saw light outside and I went to my window and my children, my parents, and some other people were outside looking at me in the window and they were like, come out, come out. And there was some danger. I don't know if it was a fire. I don't know what it was, but there was some danger where I was. And it, and then I would wake up. I felt really afraid and then I would wake up. And I'm like, okay. But that was a recurring dream that I had twice. And part of I think the heavy feeling was me doing so many things, taking care of things that nobody else was going to be able to take care of or I was responsible for and all these things. But the things that I let go for it to not be so heavy for me to keep moving were all the things that fill me up, my self-care. Those are the things that were let go. And so that was very basic. I have an understanding about self-care. I'm not consistent like I want to be, but I'm very aware. And I just wasn't, and I lost it. So those two things, that dream, I'm still thinking about it a lot because I hadn't had a recurring dream in a long time. But one of the things that came out was, okay, like I looked at my family, like my parents, I try to do a lot of things for them. My children, I'm always, running around with them. And then there were some other faces out there and all of them were safe outside and I was still inside. I was the only one. And it was like, how did I not get the message? How did I not get up when everybody else got out? And so it was like you let go of the things that fill you, the things for you to take care of. And then my 11-year-old telling me I did what was best for me. So that was my epiphany. And that's my check-in. I'm whole right now. I'm here. I'm whole, and nothing missing and nothing broken.
There it is.
I'm complete.
That's great.
When you were inside, were you inside your home or you just didn't know you were inside your home? Home is also symbolism for obviously inside of you. That's number one, but also comfort zone. And
Okay.
right, and they might have been evoking you out of your comfort zone.
I was not only in my home, I was in my bedroom.
The even more comfort zone, right? So think about that too, in reference to, especially what just happened with your daughter, because she took you out of your comfort zone too.
And I love that part that you pulled back when she said you allowed her to have that moment, but also I would imagine it's a teachable moment, right? Because a lot of times we as parents don't realize that we don't know much about our children, how they're thinking, until things like that. So now there's the conversation about that thought process to be able to come to and say that it was not intimidating with you, none of that. They just, I got to tell you this is on my mind, right? So it just says something about the experience and utilize that in your relationship now, to utilize that moment, to get closer, to get deeper in thought and her thought process.
I think what she said was beautiful. It was beautiful.
I do too, actually.
Yeah.
And I want to say, don't forget to send the recording, because I stepped away, but I heard Janetta began a conversation, a discussion that everybody was having about that masculine energy. And I was like in here and I was like, oh, I need to hear that. Oh, I need to hear that. I missed some parts of it. So I do want to go back to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Dr. Rome, how was your week?
Week was fantastic. Fantastic. Had a great, we got a lot accomplished. Was offered to be a part of a symposium around professional males. And that was interesting. And it was interesting for me to, my first response, and to see where that came from. And to kind of break from that kind of, but it was an opportunity. So just things are happening for us individually, individually as well as, but also this collective consciousness. So I'm just very pleased on where I'm at, socially and emotionally, learning so much more about my emotional self than I ever have before in this process. And so it's intriguing, it's exciting, and I'm learning a whole lot more than what I thought I already knew. So just being open for that, and it's just been a great week.
Great. A good week. It's I've been feeling and experiencing tiredness myself, stepping up for my daughter and taking my grandchildren to school. And I usually wake up 7:30 and start the routine. I get into the office maybe around 11, and I'm in the office till like 9 o'clock, 9:10 at night. Now I'm waking up at 5. Sometimes I don't get to take that nap, and it's like yesterday. Dr. Jerome could tell you we finished up the day. What time did we finish up the day? Around 8, about 8-ish. I was feeling so tired that I was almost in tears. So I'm looking to how to negotiate. I might actually do something that this video is going to be talking about. It's going to be talking about fasting. So we talked about the first level of alchemy is how we treat ourselves, but this video gets so deep into fasting that did anyone watch it? Did I post the video on fasting? I did. Okay. Who watched it? 1, 2, just three people. Okay. 4. Okay. So 4 people watched it. So show it again. Okay. Well, I'm gonna hold off. Interesting enough. When I play the video, I'm gonna go get something to eat. So but let's go ahead and look at the manual. Okay. So we started going over the principle of correspondence, the hermetic principle of correspondence represents, and we talked about this earlier, interaction between macrocosm and microcosm is thought this principle that we are able to witness a seamless connection between the mental, physical, and spiritual planes of existence. So that's the one thing that is, first of all, each plane, each realm, so to speak, is separated simply by vibration. That's it, simply by vibration. So for instance, the colors of light, we go from red up to violet. Before we see red, there's something we call infrared. After violet, well, you see there's something called ultraviolet. We can't see ultraviolet, we can't see infrared. Unless they have devices where we can get infrared goggles, we could get ultraviolet light to see those colors. After that, we can't see it. Okay, that means they're outside the scope of what we can see. So they exist somewhere outside of the scope of what we can see. So the thing about it is that at some point, vibration is going to manifest a physical matter. So at some point, vibration is, that's E equals MC squared. E equals MC squared is saying that when matter vibrates at a certain frequency, it stops being matter and it becomes energy. When energy slows down to a certain level of frequency, it becomes matter. Okay? It is the idea or belief that all units of creation are reflections of each other and together make up the whole of the holographic universe. Science has showed that the way our brain cells are organized are the same ways the universe is organized. The universe is built on a holographic principle and fractals. This is the structure of how mind works, and on a macrocosm is all of creation in the universe. On a macro level is our brain and nervous system. A fractal is a never-ending pattern. Fractals are infinitely complex patterns that are self-similar across different scales. They're created by repeating a simple process over and over in an ongoing feedback loop. Driven by recursion, fractals are images of dynamic systems, the pictures of chaos. Geometrically, they exist in between our familiar dimensions. Okay, so that's when I showed some pictures of what we're really talking about with fractals. The brain cells, the universe. Here we have in nature, you can see the similarities. Okay. Okay, so then we talked about the Bible, talking about thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. What we know as alchemists, we know that when the Bible speaks about earth, it's talking about physical plane. When it's talking about heaven, it's talking about the mental plane. Okay, so anytime the Bible is talking about earth, it's talking about the physical plane. When it's talking about heaven, it's talking about the mental plane. Hell is also a mental plane. Anyone want to unmic yourself? And what type of mental plane is hell?
It's hell.
Hell is hell.
Is it ego?
It's when that's a good point. That's a good point. I would say it's when ego is injured. When ego is injured. Ego has been explained to when we were going through this in the transpersonal psychology class. They called it a psychic organ. So when ego is injured, that's when we experience a feeling, going back to what Reverend Sharon was saying, a feeling of hell. To the alchemist, the principle of correspondence reveals the link between the conscious and subconscious mind. The work the alchemist does on the spiritual plane, building a relationship with the divine, moves into the mental plane as an idea or intuition, then manifests itself on the physical plane. This is where the mastery of the principle of mentalism comes into effect. The alchemist is now able to see the positive and negative effects of their thoughts and emotions having on the world around them. Through the principle of correspondence, the alchemist gains the wisdom to cut to the root causes of all things and solve all paradoxes. Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. Cherie, is your hand up or is it still lingering there from? It's still lingering. So yeah, you gotta go ahead and lower your hand. There it is. Okay. Discussion. Because here's, let me do a little sacred geometry for you. So in sacred geometry, they look upon that this circle, oh, well, no, I should do it this way. Hold on. Okay, center. That's not bad. Look at that. It's pretty good. Okay, this center point is considered in geometry first dimension. It is where matter comes into the physical universe. So many people will call this point God. This is why in Hebrew, the word for sin means off target, because you are not in this center. Now, when God spoke, God created a vibration that went out in all directions and created this circle. Okay? Then Who did God speak to? If God spoke, who did God speak to? Well, that is what in sacred geometry. Let's see if I can. Is the car is and in alchemy is the correspondence. Because we even use when we're talking to somebody, we call them correspondences. So God spoke and went out in all directions. Who did God speak to? God spoke to itself. That created the other circle of separation. So now God is here. God creates this other circle that now God can be aware of itself. In the middle, you see that part in the middle? If we were to take this, let me see if I could do it. It's not gonna let me see if I do control. I'll do it. And you know what? I could do it here. Many times we see it this way, right? In the middle here, what we have created is something called the Vesica Pisces. The Vesica Pisces is the fish that we see in Christianity. They just put a little thing over here to make it look like a fish. It's also the eye, the all-seeing eye. What the Vesica Pisces is the Christ consciousness. It takes the above and below and it brings it together. It also is the linking point between ourselves and the divine. So the law of correspondence is creating ourselves outside of ourselves so we can see ourselves.
So when you said, I was thinking that earlier when you said about sin, what the sin has been off the mark. I also correlate that having hellish experiences when being off the mark.
When you're off the mark,
Yeah.
we have indicators to let us know we're off the mark, and it feels like hell. But it's supposed to feel like hell. That's our indicators. Many of us invest so much into the indicators. We're investing in depression, sadness, anguish. We're investing in anger, shame, guilt. And we then, those are just names that we have put on bodily sensations. And when we put a name on those bodily sensations, we then become that. So if I'm having a bodily sensation, my body's having a reaction. Let me show you something about somatic therapy. When I'm having a bodily sensation about something, that's all it is a bodily sensation. They're indicators. It's just, alarms in my system going off saying, okay, do something different or avoid this or, it's just alarms going off in the body through that system. By me putting a name on it, I made it real. I just made it real. Remember, the same bodily sensations for excitement is the same bodily sensations for anxiety. But if I put the word anxiety on those bodily sensations, then I'm anxious. I just made it real. If I put excitement on it, then I'm excited. I made that real. So we have the power. Now, let me show you what happens in somatic therapy. There's people who, because feelings become so intense that they learned to numb themselves. They learn to separate themselves from their bodily sensations so they don't have to feel it. It's a mechanism. In somatic therapy, this is what happens. Your body's still having the sensations. So in somatic therapy, it helps you say, okay, well, talk about what's going on in the body. Since you cannot make a mental connection with the emotion, talk about what's happening in the body. So then they get used to being able to connect with what's happening in the body. Then at some point, the therapist will help them give names to that so they can feel a sense of connection to those feelings. But the thought is, well, if you're doing that, now you're going to make them feel those feelings when they can be that, and therefore what happens, we usually, when I say invest, we become attached to those feelings. So the theory is that you have to develop a healthy emotional intelligence in order to then disassociate yourself from it, in order to not be attached to it. So you have to first have it healthy, and then, so that's the healing process. So if you even go on in this and become get your master's in divinity and transpersonal psychology and want to become a counselor, you can help your clients to do that. First, develop a healthy emotional intelligence, and then show them how to not be attached to it. But you don't go straight to being not attached to it. If they're unstable with their emotional intelligence, you got to build that first. Yes, Deborah, and then Aikita. Oh, Deborah, did you have a question? Oh, okay. Aikita.
So I just wanted to go back. I mean, I just wanted to revisit. So you're saying that people can numb themselves so they don't feel anything in their bodies, but that's necessary. You need to feel it, the physiological part of it, and then detach.
Yeah, and when I say detach, because that term is used as a psychological term for people that have an inability to bond. So they're detached, like when people completely ruin cultures and societies and languages in favor of them building, high-rise buildings and stuff like that. In psychology, we would look at them as being detached because they're not able to feel compassion. They're not able to connect with them. So like de-invest yourself into it. What I like to say is disengage from being attached. That's the word terminology that I like to use.
What if you try to separate yourself from the thoughts? Like people numb the feeling in their body. The thought, is that where I've heard that, that's a common symptom of trauma, right? Like you just block stuff out or have memory loss. Is that what that is in terms of the mental part of it?
So yes, so it's very interesting how there's like two sides of it. So, and these are great questions. So you have your adept, your master, who is able to observe their thoughts and just not put any attachments, not put any judgments, expectations on them. They're just observing them. And they're very adept at that. And so they're living a life very seamless. Life always seems to be, they always seem to be in the flow, right? But then you have the injured person that created mechanisms so that they can, when danger seems to be in sight, they can say, okay, I don't have to feel this. I don't have to think this. Okay. So they developed a mechanism from being injured. So the problem with that is that they are not, they're numbing themselves from not just that, but from other things too, from the joy, they're not really experiencing life in the flow. They're actually, their life has been interrupted, and they have to first, so it's like, in order to transcend the ego, you have to develop a healthy ego first to transcend it. If your ego's not healthy and it's unstable, and that's why I said the first work is cleaning up those narratives and cleaning up those filters. If you try to transcend the ego, and the ego has not had a healthy development, there's a lot of interruptions in its healthy development during our in our developmental years. Then if you go to transcend it, and I see it a lot. We see it a lot. We saw a few people, Lauryn Hill, our Gemini brother, Kanye West. We've seen people that started going into the cosmos mentally, and because they did it with an injured ego, that they got unstable. Because remember, the ego, as you go up into the heavens, it keeps you grounded. It's like my daughter's logo mantra for the coffee: get lifted, stay grounded. So, so the concept is that in order for us to really take off in transcending the ego, we have to also have a healthy ego that keeps us grounded. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
So there's a difference, like
thanks.
I said, right? There's a difference between that person who is disconnected from their feelings and their thoughts because they're injured versus the person that worked hard at creating a sense of distance or a space between their selves and their thoughts and their feelings.
Got that.
That's what makes this last sentence so powerful. Through principle of correspondence, the alchemist gains the wisdom to cut to the root causes of all things and solve all paradox.
That was a paradox.
Yeah.
Give thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
That was a paradox. This person and this person are doing the same thing. Why isn't this person over here experiencing the same experience that this person over here is? It's a paradox. So now you cut right through all the paradoxes. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Sentence to be in this process, to really see and be able to vision yourself as you gain the wisdom, knowing what's the results of that, instead of allowing you to cut through and get to the root of things, instead of ignoring them or suppressing them, then nothing changes. So that's what's so powerful about this, to be able to be in this moment in alchemy, to realize that that's a powerful, powerful principle to move forward and on to all the rest. If you're not able to get past the principles of correspondence, then how will the rest of them serve?
Yeah, well, and these because I was thinking about this today, because a lot of times we call it law of correspondence, law of vibration. And in the Kabbalion, they call it the principles. They're referenced as principles. And I was like, well, what's the difference between a law and a principle? And I was thinking that laws can change. Laws can be broken. You have consequences for broken, but principles can't. Principles are the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's across the board. They stand on they stand on their own. Because even though we think about, and we talked, I think, a little bit about this last time, even if we reference like the law of gravity, or the law of electromagnetics, if we reference those are classical laws in physics. If Dr. Jerome and I, not saying we're going to do this, but if we jumped off the Empire State Building,
no, we ain't doing that.
There's going to be a law that's of gravity that's going to determine our rate of falling, and it's going to be proportional to our mass, to the Earth's gravity, blah blah blah, right? But when we get to the quantum level, they found out that the laws all disappear. There's no more classical laws of physics. They're gone. And that's the level of mind that we could get to, where we could actually create new structures and new laws and manifest different and manifest things that is not, Jesus walking on water. That's a different law. That's a different law. But we can create things like that. We can create that our buoyancy can walk on water, but we have to go into that level to do the tweaking and at where the laws break down and then develop different laws. It's hard for us to do this because we don't know what a law that we never see what that would look like. So that's why it's hard for us to actually shift and change laws, but we do have that ability. What is the principle there?
whether
The head of the school.
yeah, a comprehensive and fundamental law, doctrine, or assumption. Another one says a habitual devotion to right principles, laws or facts of nature underlying the working of an artificial device, an underlying faculty or endowment, primary source,
Primary source, that's good.
an ingredient such as a chemical that exhibits or imparts a characteristic quality. Those are the different definitions.
The law of vibration. You know what makes me want to do, and I think maybe we'll do a different video. We had that beautiful, amazing woman that came and spoke. I don't know if Reverend Sharon remembers her name, at the Ubuntu conference about vibration. So let me see if I can find that video.
Reverend Sharon, you remember her name?
No, I know exactly who you're talking about. I just saw her picture the other
got
day.
her.
Yeah, there she is.
I got her.
You know,
I got her.
But it means we got to step up our game. If you want a thing, each have a personal frequency.
Okay.
We each have a personal.
Let's start with here.
What Jesus taught.
Okay, this should be a good starting point. This is. Should I go back even more?
Just a little bit. Just what you took.
Okay.
Like this person here, and then finally Spirit said, daughter, you just do it like what did you say? God, I'm gonna do it the way God told me to do it. I'm gonna do it according to my vibration. So I'm a teacher preacher. That's important to me. I love to teach. You know, I've been teaching since my mother said, since I came out the womb, I was always telling her what to do and what not to do. I'm a teacher preacher. And I love the word. And so very often I'm going to go to words because I'm a metaphysician and I like to see what's underneath that word. What does that word really mean? What is it really saying? So I'm conscious of that. So I'm going to ask you to indulge me as I take some time to go through some definitions of voice, vision, and vibration so that we're all on the same wavelength. We got the same understanding of where we're coming from, right? And so I wanted to read some things from Charles Fillmore. I wanted to start with vibration, and this is what Mr. Fillmore says, and I'm reading from this new version of the Revealing Word. And this is what he says about vibrations. Vibrations is the rate at which all forces move. I want you to pick up the operative word, the rate at which all forces move. One of the greatest discoveries of all ages is that of physical science, which shows that all things have their source and being in vibrations. What Jesus taught so profoundly in symbols was about the riches of the kingdoms of heaven have now been proven true. The whole universe is in vibration, right? And that vibration is under law. The whole universe right now is in vibration, and that vibration is under law. And it says, he says, chaos would result if the law were not supreme. Each particular thing has its rate of vibration. Heat, light, and color are different rates of vibration in one field of primal energy. Different colors are caused by the different frequencies of the vibrations as they strike the eye. But what causes vibration? He says, we answer mind. And then the next thing, vibrations of thought. He says, vibrations of thought or thought vibrations, energy sent out by the force and power of thought. Now, what I picked up from here that I love, he says that each particular thing has a rate of vibration, meaning we each have a personal frequency. We each have a personal vibration about our being, right? And we have a rate at which we vibrate. Now, this is important because, you see, the rate at which you vibrate has an effect and a determination on the rate in which you're going to manifest. The rate in which you vibrate will have an effect on your ability to bring forth from the invisible into visibility the thing that you desire. So if you can vibrate at the rate of the thing that you want, then that thing must come into manifestation, because you have a corresponding vibration to it. Sometimes people want things and they don't even have the vibration to get it. They just want it over here, but in their heart and soul, they don't even know how to get it, because it's like, well, maybe. When you want a thing and your vibration manifests and matches that thing, you're going to have it. Under what? Under law. So don't get mad if you ain't manifesting. Don't blame it on God. Don't blame it on anybody, because you have a vibration that can access the creative field of life. Right? So the thing is, you got to find out, what rate are you vibrating at? Is your rate strong? Is it quick and fast? Is it true? Or is there some doubt mixed up in there, some confusion mixed up in your rate, which means you vibing and wobbling, speaking a mixed thing? So this is important for us to understand. If you're going to be a masterful metaphysician, well, what rate am I vibrating on? You see, we happen to think that this thing is solid. Right? You know it's not, right? Because quantum physics say that this thing appears to be solid, but it's actually vibrating at such a rate that it gives the appearance of being solid. Jesus was able to walk upon the water because he was vibrating at the same rate that the water was. So he could walk upon it. It was solid. It was solid because he matched the vibration of the water. And when he told his disciples, come on, get up on the water, Peter said, oh, because he was not able to, he couldn't vibrate at that same level of that thing. Now this is a key to manifestation that we as truth tellers know. But it means we got to step up our game. If you want a thing, you better vibrate at the level of that thing so you can claim it. You can claim it. This is important for us to understand if we're going to be the truth tellers and light bearers and getting ready for this world that is calling forth. Our abilities to step up our game at this point is necessary. So you want to ask yourself often, what is the frequency at which you are vibrating? I often ask my congregation, do you know what happens when 150 watts of energy flows through a 15-watt bulb? What do you think happens? Poof! Right? And so what we see a lot of things happening on this planet is people are losing their mind because they can't keep up with the vibration that's here on the planet right now. So if you want to produce and shine like a 150-watt bulb, and you're just a 15-watt, you need to increase your wattage. You better do what you need to do to bring up your wattage, your capacity to handle the thing that you want. Right? So we're being called. I don't know about you, but I'm moving from a 15-watt to a 150-watt bulb. Maybe a 200-watt bulb if they make those. I don't know. So the question to ask yourself, what is the frequency that I am vibrating under? What is the energy? You see, what is the energy that I'm carrying around with me? What is the energy that I'm broadcasting the moment you come into my space? Am I broadcasting love? Is my vibration the speaking of love, compassion, truth, faith? Or is my vibration demonstrating negativity, limitation, fear, doubt, judgments, questioning everything? What's the vibration you are bringing? Because listen, Your vibration enters the room long before you do. Your vibration precedes you. And what you put out is what the universe is going to search out for a corresponding vibration for you. So this is important. You got to make sure that you are speaking and feeling and vibrating at the level you desire, because people can feel your energy. They feel your energy before you even utter a word. I sit down and I watch people, I feel people, because we can all do this. You know, when you get around somebody with some bad negative vibes, right? You be like, woo. They haven't said anything to, but you're like, woo. Let me get away from here. People feel you. So we need to be aware of and be able to check what we're putting out. What's your vibratory, level? Is it one of faith? God bless my mother. She's 95. I love her to death, but she worries about everything. And her vibration is a vibration of worry. Her frequency is a vibration of fear. And I try to, I've been on the planet for a little bit, and I've been on this journey for quite a bit, over 50 years as a conscious creator. And I've been trying to work with her, and I just had to come. This is her vibration. She's got a loving heart, a beautiful, good soul, and would do anything like any mother for her children. She would walk through, the fires of hell if she had to. But for herself, her vibration is low. She's a product of the Depression era. So things are fearful, things are scarce. We're going to have enough. And, if I go to the store, say, Mom, what you want? Let's have some lobster tonight. Oh, that's going to cost a lot. I said, I didn't ask you to pay for it. Trying to get her to open up. But I honor her because that's her vibration, right? And sometimes she's willing to change it. But we who are conscious know that we must be about watching what we're putting out. As masterful metaphysicians, we have a work to do. We've got to be able to consciously begin to use the vibration, which is energy, use the energy of God consciously. And this is a gift. This is a powerful thing. Because energy work is not just for certain people. I know you've got your energy healers and workers, and that's great because they're doing their thing. But the call was for each of us to be able to work with our own energy. Each of us to be able to, we have to be our own healers. You got to save yourself. Stop looking for people to fix you, heal you, save you, bless you, heal, fix, save yourself, because we are equipped to do that. And so the time right now, what the world needs is all of us as light bearers and truth tellers to be able to heal whatever is in our way. I can share my healing light and my love and my presence and my power with you, but I'm going to make sure that I'm doing it in and through and for me as a vessel, so that when what's coming forth, when I'm vibrating, you're going to pick up my healing vibes. When I'm standing in my power, when I'm standing in my place, you're going to pick up my love vibration. And that vibration will go out and it will hopefully touch and tap the vibration in you that will meet and match. So your healing can take place. This is what Jesus did as a healer. It was his presence, his vibration. All he had to do was come in the presence of somebody and they were like, woo. Remember when he was in the crowd of people and a woman came up and she said, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, right? It was the vibration, and he said, woo. He said, somebody touched me. Because I felt the virtue coming out of my body. And that woman knew if I could just get close enough to that vibration, I would be healed. This is what we are here to do. See, because somebody's going to try to touch the hem of your garden, right? And you. But we have to vibrate first. And when you do that and you're vibrating at the level of the divine, you don't have to worry about begging and pleading and whatever. Stuff like a magnet, stuff is going to start coming to you because you're vibrating, right? Your faith, he said, has made you whole. Your faith is a vibration that's putting out there that I know my good is coming. And when you vibrate with that level, the good has to come. The blessings have to come. So we've got to be able to step into our own power, into our own space, and check out your vibrations often. Because you know when you're off. I know when I'm off. You know what I'm saying? My vibes ain't right. I don't walk around pretending that I'm always, in the higher stratosphere. There are times when my vibration is low. It could be physically. Maybe I don't feel up to par. I was telling Bishop that I've been moving and moving and moving. And so coming here was actually an opportunity for me to rest. I needed to rest. Spirit said, lay it down now, because ain't nobody here. The church, everything is taken care of. Mama's taking care of, the church is taking rest. I said, but I want to come out of here, rest. And I was obedient, because I needed to bring some healing vibrations to my own being. And so I did that. When your vibrations are low, you got to be able to check yourself. Now, I also know when my vibrations are off, when I'm agitated, when I'm outside of my true and wonderful self. It could be that I'm driving on the road and, you cut me off and I'm not feeling that willingness to bless you. And I have to check myself. Now, sometimes I don't catch it till after. But thank God I do catch it. I said, no, Sylvia, you know that wasn't right. You didn't come right. You didn't come right. I remember I had a neighbor, and they rented out their place to someone anyway, but we had common ground. And in the center of it, they were driving their car down the center part and driving over my lawn that I paid good money to keep green and lush and plush. And they kept doing it. So it was Sunday morning. It's about 5 o'clock. I get up early on Sunday mornings, and I was working on my talk, and I looked up and I saw that they were driving the car against my lawn. I threw my notes, I jumped out there, and I gave this young man the blues, the what for. Now, he didn't know me from Adam, but you know what he said? He said, ma'am, you need to go to church. This is Sunday morning now, and I'm trying to prepare for church, but my vibration was off. And when he said that, all I could do was go, you know what? I had to own it. You right, young man. I told the congregation they left, because I tell on myself. I don't ever, I tell on myself. But you check your vibration often. Because sometimes to see if there's a shift to be made, then you got to make the shift. If you need to lift up your own vibration, speak those positive words to yourself, speak it. You have the power. You don't have to wallow in a negative low vibration, in a low state. You're equipped to lift yourself up. Vibration is movement and energy. It's a powerful feeling. Some people call it in the East Shaktipat. That's a movement of energy. And we in New Thought would call it a quickening of the spirit. Now, when Sister was singing, did you not have a quickening of your spirit? A movement of energy, a stirring?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Good stuff.
That was a really good display of the law or the principle of vibration.
And correspondence.
And correspondence, right, because she spoke about that too. Any comments on that?
She was talking to me. You get to hear that.
It was wonderful. I wanted her to get into, okay, what's next? What's next? The first thing, I got the first thing. You got to know where your vibration is. You got to check that first, and identify where you are. And then where you want to be, you need to match that, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, break it down. Sis. Like, okay, now what's the next step? How do you get there? It was so good. That was good. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And the veggie back on that, Bishop Carlton Pearson said, it's the frequency that you frequent.
Yeah, you keep on anyway. He said the thought, your frequency is the thoughts that you have frequently.
There you go.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah,
And that's it though, right? When I say what's next,
Mhm.
what's in there? Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
I,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I just something that stood out to me because when you were doing the circles, you were saying like you manifest things outside of yourself to show you yourself. And when she was speaking about healing yourself and, you know, so your vibration and you're healing others, it just kind of connected in my brain. Like when you're seeing things in others that you feel, we might put judgment on, like, oh, they need to heal that. Like, then we look at ourselves and see, why are we recognizing that in that person? So really, while we're reaching out to heal others, in turn, we're healing something within ourselves as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, you ever heard that saying, I resemble that remark. Like anytime you say something about someone, say, well, how do I resemble that remark?
And not allowing ego to interrupt that message. That's where ego can kick in. And that's just them. I'm good. I'm evolved. I'm you know. But first, allowing yourself to actually have that experience makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Who is Tiffany?
Oh, yeah, I think everybody's touched on it. It really hit home when she said that your frequency and your vibration shows up way before you do into the room. It, I mean, I know that I hear that, but for some reason when she said it again, the way she describes it, it's very visual. Um, Even from her speaking about Jesus walking on water and thinking about the vibration, I instantly started thinking about how atoms are always vibrating, and we don't think about things like that. We think of things being stagnant or finite, or when we talked about in transpersonal psychology, you know, we just think of something being defined and finite, when, you know, there's so much room for expansion. And actually, for some reason, I keep reflecting on transpersonal psychology because I feel like the vibration is speaking about what is beyond our finite body. Like, you know, like things like pheromones, everything that we hear about, we talk about, you can't see, but you know there has to be some truth to it because you do see an effect, or you feel an effect, you smell an effect, whatever you want to, you know, whatever you want to say. So I got a lot of visuals from her speech. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, it's you're right. Those, you know, emotions release hormones that are felt outside of ourselves. We all know dogs can smell fear. But not just dogs. Most animals can smell fear. And so can cops. And I'm not being funny about that. They can smell the fear, the people that are in fear because they have something to hide. And guess who gets pulled over?
And also people that work at border patrols, like Canada, between Canada and the United States, they also have that. They've been trained. They build that sensation, that sensitivity.
Yep.
You know?
Senses have to be developed. You can actually develop a sense of smelling fear. You can develop a sense of. They actually did a study too. They found that men can actually smell women that are ovulating.
What you say? What you say?
Yeah, they
I need
did.
to work on that sense.
Yeah, you develop a sense, you develop a sensitivity. That's why when you're like, when we do sometimes the alchemy practice, and I ask you to hone into this chakra, well, you could get adept at that chakra because each chakra comes with its own set of consciousness. It's you know, we were going over this on Wednesday night. Each one has its own consciousness. That means it has its own behaviors, its own thoughts, its own sensations. So when you get sensitive to the chakras, every time you focus on it, you can actually gain a sensitivity and a sense of the consciousness of that chakra.
You know, it also came to me listening to her said that our energy precedes us. But have you ever been in a room where somebody must have caused some kind of chaos, they left, and the energy is still there? So it works both ways, right? You can walk into a situation like, ooh, what's wrong? And that person's already gone, but they left that energy and it's still affecting other people.
Houses, that's why it's good to do a house cleansing and blessing before you go in it. The anything that's, especially wood that's porous, but anything that's porous is going to hold the vibration of the energy of the occupants before that. That's why it's like, I used to be a big thrifter. I used to love going to thrift stores and just loving them. I was a big one until I went to a plant medicine ceremony, and she said, "You wearing somebody else's energetic signature." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I don't go to thrift stores anymore. Not for clothes, not for stuff that's like that. Maybe, other things that you can really cleanse and, or books. I'll get books from there, but still in all. Yeah, and right, saging and frankincense are great energy cleansers, and dragon's blood is really gets deeper into the cleansing process. So, okay. So, I do want to just bring up this last part about vibration on the thing, because I feel like we really covered vibration, I should say she really covered vibration. The Ankh in ancient Egypt was used as a conduit to harness the vibration of the divine power of life and sexual energies and conception. During a full moon, the woman who wanted to conceive would hold the Ankh to their womb as a way to activate ovulation. We were just talking about ovulation. It's interesting. Activating ovulation, as ovulation does get triggered by light. Hence, in ancient times, women ovulated during the full moon, which is why fertility ceremonies would be conducted then. To the alchemist, the Hermetic principle of vibration is a master key to understanding everything created in the universe. This universal law provides the window into the millions of degrees of vibrations that separate matter, energy, and spirit. The mastery of the Hermetic principle of vibration allows the alchemist to master one's own mental vibration and the mental vibration of others. To the alchemist, the Hermetic principle of vibration gives him or her the power to have dominion over natural phenomenon in various ways and manifest at will. It is said that once a student fully understands the principle of vibration, they have grasped the scepter of power. Okay.
Full moon tonight.
Yeah, go ahead.
Full moon tonight.
That's right.
Oh.
That's right.
Okay.
Get your unks out. Because, we just, they use the word conceive. There you are. We use the word conceive in two ways. We conceive ideas and we conceive life. So if you want to conceive new ideas, you can use a full moon and that vibration to open up that portal. And many of us here already are doing full moon and new moon ceremonies. Now, I've come across, because some people feel full moon is when you release. Some people think full moon is when you manifest. For me, I feel the full moon is when we manifest, because that's when women were able to conceive at that time. And new moon is when women would release their cycle. Their cycle would be released during the new moon, when we were, vibrating with the moon. So, that's, I look at that. I look at the new moon as a time to release and the full moon as a time to manifest. But some people look at it differently. So it's really consciousness. We have the power to decide how we want it to go. Okay. Rania, now that you have spoken, can you start reading the principle of polarity, or the law of supreme justice?
Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. The Kybali. Did I say that right? In alchemy, this is known as the law of polarities, whereas everything has its polar opposite and eventually will even out. in mathematics is called the law of averages. It's to say that if I toss a coin 10 times, I may get 9 tails. But if I toss it 500 times, it looks more like 50-50. Eventually, things will even out. The very definition of the law of averages is that an injustice or imbalance will even out over time. However, we have the power to complete the incomplete, meaning if we have parts of us that are still holding on to pain from a memory of the past that caused us pain, which distorts our reality, then we feel incomplete. When we decide that we have the power to not wait on time to balance out the injustice, we can do that within ourselves. We have activated the law of supreme justice. Like in the quote above, extremes meet. All truths are but half truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled.
Okay, let me stop right there. Okay. Great reading, by the way. So notice what it's saying. So we don't have to wait for justice to prevail in an external sense. We can actually do the process in ourselves, because it's saying that the quote says extremes meet, all truths are but half truths. So if I sit here and I say from a childhood memory that my mother did not do this for me, that's a half truth. I never went to see, well, what else, what was the other half of the truth? What else, what was the other polarity aspect of it? Because there was a bad thing over here and I'm stuck on that. But there's a good thing. There's something good. If I follow the path along of what happened after that, I'm gonna find a good thing. And when I find that good thing, that's the other side of it. That makes it a whole truth. That makes it complete. And now the paradox is reconciled.
The first, as we're talking and as you're reading, Rania, at the end, I thought of Nelson Mandela. You know, I thought of him in terms of the sacrifice he made, knowing this principle. Since he must have known something about this principle, of this whole idea about as long as he stayed in prison, he just knew that reconciliation was part of the paradox. And once he was released, he became president. So for me, that just came to mind as an example of this law.
And now that you're saying Mandela, hold on, let me see how much we have here, because I do want to talk briefly about the Mandela effect. All right, keep on reading. I'm to stick a pin in the Mandela effect. Remember, I want to say something. Okay, so if you could continue, Rania, the principle.
The principle of polarity shows us that spirit and matter are opposite poles of the same thing, the intermediate planes, being merely different rates of vibration.
So we often, my apologies for interrupting, because many times people say, oh, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Well, if spirit and matter are just opposite poles, then we are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience in the physical, in the form of matter. Let's say that again. We're spiritual beings having a spiritual experience in the form of matter. The vibration of matter. Well, that's even more. Okay. All right, you can keep going.
In hermeneutics, it is believed that the all and the many are the same. The difference being varying degrees of mental manifestation. In Hinduism, the creator god Brahma sprang from the cosmic golden egg, and from his own person created both good and evil, light and dark. We see polar opposites in other aspects of life, such as hot and cold, tall and short, hard and soft, love and hate, fear and courage. For example, hot and cold are both on the same scale of temperature, being simply different degrees, hot being on the upper scale of the temperature and cold being on the lower end of the scale. We witness this again with the flow of electricity. For an electrical current to work, you need both positive and negative charges. You need both poles. The principle of polarity gives us a clear vision of how transmutation works. Transmutation is not changing one thing into an entirely different thing, but changing the degree of the same thing.
Okay, let's say that again.
Mm.
Transmutation is not changing
one thing into an entirely different thing, but changing the degree of the same thing.
That's good.
For example, one cannot transmute fear into love, but one can transmute fear into courage or hate into love.
Wow. Wow. Now, let me just say this, because when I'm with clients and we're looking to develop a new narrative or develop a new feeling, I say you have to come up with what the opposite is, because speaking to this, it has to be on the same spectrum of that feeling. You're just coming to a different degree of it. I'm going to speak that differently when I talk to the clients too. Yeah, this is good. This is good.
Keep going.
Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, because it's only one more paragraph.
When the alchemist can understand and use the Hermetic principle of polarity, he or she will better understand their own mental state. This understanding will allow the alchemist to view his or her own mental state as matter of degree of a specific emotion, thought, or feeling. The alchemist will be able to raise or lower their vibration at will, becoming a master of his or her own vibration. This will free the alchemist from the control of others' vibrations and ideals. The principle of polarity allows the alchemist to aid others emotionally and intellectually as they move closer to the will of the divine. The mastery of the principle of polarity gives the alchemist the ability to perform spiritual, mental, and physical alchemy in all situations.
In all situations. And I'm gonna divert to Isaiah 45:7. I form the light and create the darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. What do you think about that?
Did you repeat what that verse? It was Isaiah.
Isaiah 48:7. No, 45:7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all things. Because we're not separate.
I really appreciate that. Just growing up in a very devout Christian atmosphere, and they teach you that anything that is dark or anything that is unpleasant or anything that is quote unquote evil is outside of God, or it's not God, or it's not created by God, or God isn't in this. You know what I mean? And as many churches as I have been to, no pastor has ever read that verse, and I've been to many. My father, he played the organ at different churches, my grandmother. So I've been to many churches across different states, and they never touched that, but they never mentioned that verse. So just to know, because in other classes we were taught that there is good in everything. Take one of those O's out. There is God in everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And good. Because it's just, in transpersonal psychology, there's the enlightened model that says everything is perfect the way it is. And if I do not see that, that means I have given it a value that is, misconstrued, something like that. So the point is that seek for God in this situation. because God's in the situation. Because if you say that it's not of God, if you say it's of the devil, then what you did is you just created another God, right? That has just as much power as the God you serve, because it can usurp God in your life and implant itself.
I have a question.
Yes.
Well, I don't know the question, but sometimes people just everything that goes wrong, they blame the devil. And it just is. My girlfriend couldn't get her chair on the porch because it was too big. Oh, the devil is busy. The devil is busy.
The devil was
Because
holding
you
on to the
can't
chair.
get your chair on the porch. I mean, come on. I mean, and we do it so just, like we said, good morning, good afternoon. The devil is.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you make a valid point. You make a very valid point, and it's our growth and understanding that allows us to differentiate the meanings of those traditions, and again, it's about being off the mark. Yeah.
Well, look at even the name Satan. Shatan. There's different ways of saying it. We say Satan. Means adversary. It means adversary. Okay. We learn in the life coaching that all ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, we could rename it if we want to satanic childhood experiences, but all adversity is there to build character. So when we talk about Satan or the devil, well, are we just referencing, a mental construct that is developed to help us grow? Anybody want to, this is a good conversation. Anybody want to weigh in on what they think? Because it's good to do a conversion in your mind, by the way. When people talk about Jesus, when people talk about the devil, if you see it differently, you can convert it in your mind to a different concept, and therefore you could then agree with them and have a conversation, because you have converted their words a different way of seeing it in your mind. Because they're really go ahead, Cherie.
I apologize. I should have raised my hand. The devil made me do it. It was one of those old sayings that we used to hear. I used to hear all the time. The devil made me do it. And that was like I guess a pass.
A spiritual bypass.
Yeah. Not taking responsibility.
Yes. Janetta.
She just reminded me of something. There was a show. One of my Christian friends was very offended by the show. Like, you should be watching that, but it was called Lucifer.
And
he so he comes down, and people have this free will, but he's in their ear like, hey, you want to do this. This is really what you want to do. Go ahead and do it. And at that point, it's up to them to make the decision on which way they go. But it was it was already their desire to do so. It was already in them, and you know what I mean? It was already, that's the vibration they were already on. And so when they go ahead and give in, they're like, oh, that was the devil, that wasn't me. And he's basically like, hey, you giving me too much credit. That was all you.
Yeah, it reminds me of some of you guys are old enough to the old cartoons where they would have a situation pop up, and then right there that character had instantly the angel would pop up with the harp on one side, and on the other side would be the devil with the pitchfork, and both would be talking to the character, right? And then the character had to make a decision: who am I going to listen to? Right? So you remind me of that, when you said that.
So what is the devil? What is the devil? It is in the Bible. Satan, Lucifer. Lucifer, by the way, means light bearer. Okay, So, what if you were going to convert? Somebody's talking about the devil. How would you convert that language for yourself?
I would liken it to the undeveloped or the unhealthy ego.
That's good. I like that. I like that a lot.
It's good.
Maybe resistance as opposed to surrender.
That's a good one too. That's a really good one. Actually.
Yes.
Yep, you guys coming up with some
Good.
good stuff. Let's get one more on the table.
Think of your personal experience. How would you define that for yourself?
Like a knee-jerk reaction versus a solid response.
So got kind of your lower survival self. Okay, so that's good. So we got the lower survival. Yeah, go ahead, Katrina.
I was thinking it's a lack of knowledge of power.
These are good answers, y'all.
Yeah, really good
We need to
answers.
put a little list together on this. Wait, let me get it. Let me do that. Hold on.
The thing I would add to that is one being proactive or reactive. In my proactive state, I'm thinking through some things. In my reactionary, I'm just going to my default behavior.
So survival defaults, survival consciousness, resistance, and underdeveloped or injured ego. Good ones, good ones. Wait, and Katrina, what did you say again?
Lack of knowledge of power.
Lack of knowledge of power. Yeah.
Your power.
Yeah, that's good. Y'all came up with really good stuff. I'll send it out to list. Okay, anyone know what? So before we close, I just wanted to bring this into the conversation. Does anyone know? There was a movie on Netflix, which what made me look it up, and it's a good movie. It's called The Mandela Effect. Anyone know what the Mandela Effect is?
Yeah. Oh, the Mandela effect is when this is my understanding of it is when you thought something. Well, I'm gonna just use this. The stop sign used to say stop, spelled S-T-O-P, but now it's spelled probably S-T-P. I'm just using that for example. But it's the same meaning, but it's viewed different. It's a different perception of it.
Getting there.
I'm getting there.
You started getting there, and then you stop.
At the stop sign.
Can I explain what I think the Mandela effect is? It's sort of like if you look at things in a movie that happened that you remember, and then you look at it again, it's totally different. It's like we've gone into a different type of realm, or they've changed history.
Yep, that's part of it. That's definitely part of it. That's a great example too. Tiffany, were you gonna say something?
Nope.
No?
No.
Okay. So
can I give you the example real quick? I'm sorry. Like in the movie with Tom Cruise, where he's I think the movie was Risky Business, and he flies across the. What was the name of it?
Yeah, when he flies across
flies across the floor, and he has sunglasses on. But now you go back and look at the movie, he doesn't have sunglasses on.
That's it. So why they call it the Mandela effect is because people actually remembered that Mandela died, that he didn't go to jail, that he actually died. And you have a whole heap of people in South Africa that remembered this. So it's like you have people that have these false memories, or so seemingly false memories, like you said with the glasses, and then you go back, it's not the glasses. They do the Looney Tunes. Is it spelled Tunes or Toons, right? So then you start thinking about, I don't know, which one was it, spelled? Because loony is Loon. So then it seems like tunes. So in any case, it's that. But then you start to wonder, is it paradox universes coming together? Anyone know the theory of paradox universe? Not paradox, parallel. I said the wrong word. Parallel. Anyone know the theory of parallel universes? It's actually almost verifiable, actually, that there are parallel universes.
It's like everything is happening together simultaneously.
Yeah, there's a universe that's happening alongside our universe that where things are happening maybe slightly a little bit different. And in Kabbalah, they believe that there's 22 yous having 22 different experiences, each slightly different. And that every time we have deja vu, it's when two of those universes merge into one.
I have deja vu a lot.
I know, me too.
And why 22, the number?
I don't know why that is Kabbalah. I don't know why they came up with the number 22. But the thing is like, okay, Nassim Haramein talked about it. He's like, if what we're taught in physics is if something has to contract in order for something else to expand. So if our universe is expanding, there must be a parallel universe that's contracting. And then as our universe collapses back and starts contracting, the other universe is now expanding. But what we find is that our universe is moving in one direction of time, the other universe is moving in the opposite direction of time. Yeah, it gets a little mind bending. Little mind bending there. So, and if you get into the practice of writing down your dreams, and I actually advise, it's sometimes we wake up and our first thought isn't, was I just dreaming? But if you ask yourself that question, you're going to find something. You're going to find something. Especially if your sleep was interrupted. If your circadian rhythm was interrupted by an alarm clock, it's interrupting a dream. But because the alarm clock jolts you, usually your first thought isn't, what was I just dreaming? If you can make a habit of asking yourself that, you're going to find something. And then if you start writing down your dreams, you're going to notice that your dreams are going to show up as deja vu in your life. You're going to notice that. You're going to like deja vu. Oh, I feel deja vu. Like, oh yeah, that was the dream I had last year, or, something like that. Okay. All right. Fast takeaways. What was your takeaway, Sharia?
My takeaway, I didn't know the Mandela effect with people thinking that Mandela died. Like that never went to prison, all that kind of thing. That was interesting because I know I've heard about the Mandela effect and I didn't understand the name behind it, and that's why. But that was really interesting. And also vibration is everything. If I go into something with vibrating fear, then I'm gonna get, so I've got to look at myself when it comes to my vibrations, what I'm giving off, to see, so that I can get what I want to get, so that I can give what I want to get what I want to give. That's what I want. That's what I want to say. Yeah. Yeah.
Goes both ways.
Yeah.
According to correspondence. Okay. Rania, takeaway.
Yeah, there are times I need to check my vibration. I need to check that. And I also want to increase my vibration so that I can manifest those things in which I desire. Increase my rate.
Give thanks. Reverend Sharon, takeaway.
I think we're all on this vibration thing because I was there when she did it, and I remember distinctly kind of being mindful for like the next few weeks. And then, things happen or what have you. But to get recentered, I mean, life is lifing. To get recentered. And I think I'm going to go back and look at all of those different speakers because there were some powerful speakers at
Yes,
that conference. So thank you for
yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah, thanks.
Vibration.
Janetta?
Definitely check my vibrations, especially with the week that I've had. But in the final thought, it just occurred to me when you said like the 22 different. I always have this thing to where I feel like if I would have made a different decision, then life would be this way or life would be that way, and it just made me think. In a parallel universe, I did, and it is what I want. I did make a different decision, and these things are so. Why not vibrate and get on the frequency of that 15th me who did it? You know what I mean? And now she and I can be more aligned and parallel with the different decision that she made.
That's right.
I can't really explain it, but like that
Yeah.
that's just, it was an ongoing process and thought, but just getting on a different vibration, different frequency so I can match with whatever other aligned me in a different parallel has accomplished that I would like to see for myself.
Yeah, call her forward. Let's stop hiding.
And the big thing too that we also explored again here was that remember it's whatever we desire, the feeling is going to create the vibration. The feeling, okay? So if we usually create what we desire because of what we don't have. So we want a beautiful looking car because we don't have that right now. And so we know what the feeling is like to have a car that is not of that caliber that we would like it. So we know that feeling. So we have to go along the scale. This is how we feel when we have this car, or our car broke down or something like that. We don't like that feeling. Then we have to follow along the same scale of that feeling to decide what the feeling we want. Again, we can't say because I hate this, that I want to build, because I want to build courage. Hate is building into love, even though I would say not embracing. I would say hate to embracing, maybe. I don't, because I feel love is an all pervading. It's a standard, right? I think it's all pervading. But there's love that's all pervading, and there's love as a feeling. So there's two different kinds of love, though. Okay. Tiffany, takeaway.
I'm sorry, I just got, she just started crying. Can I circle back?
Yeah, you
I'm sorry.
definitely can. Lateria.
Okay, so I think for me is the vibration. The rate at which you vibrate bring forth those things. So I'm very kind of big on my vibration and my energy. A mantra that I say every morning is that I seek is seeking me. So I'm very the vibration that really kind of touch home right there, and also challenged me to also go a little deeper to raise my vibration and to bring forth those things a little faster, I guess, a good word to say. But yeah.
Yeah, and everything manifests based on a sequence. Everything's going to come in based on a sequence. Time is what separates it out into a sequence. So if I'm looking to manifest something, I'm putting a car back on the table, okay? If I want to manifest a car, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has to occur first before I get that car. Now, based on the rate that I'm frequenting at, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can be 1, 2, 3. If I'm vibrating faster, then it'll look more like 1, 2, 3. When I'm vibrating really fast, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I'm vibrating at the level of that thing, then it's still 1 through 5, but they're on top of each other. Even though it doesn't look like there's a sequence because it's happening all at once, it's still happening based on a sequence. Okay. Deborah.
That information doesn't hold or occupy space. And that I release the trust and knowing brings into manifestation the information that we hold. That was good for me.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, Katrina.
My takeaway is there's only peace, just different degrees. There's only abundance, just different degrees. There's only joy, just different degrees. There's only love, just different degrees.
Sure.
That was beautiful. Everyone give her a hand. That was good.
Thank you for bringing me there.
Atasia.
Yes, learning how to manage when I'm hit with those lower vibrations and that transference of energy, because for me, I get drained really badly. So just learning to manage that, and also the points that you mentioned about the somatic therapy or somatic. Yeah.
See.
Yeah, I like that. It just put me in a place of like people who are in comas and their thought processes, and them still being able to hear, some things that we're saying, and how that they are now attached to that state of comatose they're in, and that they can eventually come out of it, but it's like they have to come detached from wherever they are at that time.
That's good. That every mental state that you're in, you have to go through a process of letting it go, right? Just disengaging from it in order. And we say it all the time. When we let something go, something new comes in or something greater comes in. We say it all the time because our attachments is preventing that the next level to occur. That's good. Okay, Aikida.
When you blame or give credit to some outside entity, you create another entity just as powerful as the God that you serve. Whatever that entity. That's the biggest takeaway. And to remember to put space in between or separate who I am and how I feel or what I'm experiencing.
Okay, so that was good. So when you blame something outside of yourself, I like that. You create an entity that's just as powerful. Oh, but really just as powerful as you.
Yeah, as the God that you are. Yeah.
That the God in you. Wait, that's actually hitting me a certain, it's landing on me a certain way, not hitting me.
It's an upload.
That's landing on me a certain way. When you attribute or blame something outside of you, you just created an entity that's just as powerful as the God in you. Ooh, that's good.
That's some call the devil.
That's some call the devil.
Yeah.
But the devil is really you.
That landed on me as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yummy and then Arthur. So are you guys in the same space? Okay.
Yes. The fact that you really create your own reality. And I'm actually watching this play out, that we really create our own reality. And then the vibration, and making sure that checking your energy before you go anywhere or do anything.
That's good.
Mine is taking responsibility of myself and the things I have and the things I don't have and where I'm at and where I want to be. I can't create my own reality and manifest whatever I do want.
Mm.
And I'm responsible for the good and the mishaps. There's
Yes.
no blame. That's what I got.
Yes.
Good stuff. All right, this was great. Do you have a takeaway before we wrap up?
Yeah, my takeaway is we had a big old landing field. We've been landing this evening, right? We've been in flight and we have now landed with these takeaways. And you guys are so powerful. And so my takeaway is that there's more to come. There's more to come for all of us. Right? More to come for all of us.
Yeah. Beautiful class. I had a lot of takeaways too. So next week we're in person to take another journey. Woo, love journeys. So I'll see everybody next week. And until then, peace, love, and soul.
All right.
Dr. Fire.
Blessings.
Yes.
Can you, send me the information to where you get your scepters from?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be happy to. Okay.
Thank
All right.
Bye-bye.
Peace, y'all.